Hey everybody, I'm Rashid. So I think the question is about what type of whiteboard to use with Zoom. There are many options. So let's share the screen here. And so we need Zoom first on this left side menu to be kind of showing. If it's not, we go all the way down to settings and we go all the way up to the third item from left, navigation, click on it. Look for Zoom on this lower list, drag it, drop it to the top, and scroll all the way down, then save. So then it shows here. Once it's there, you can just schedule a meeting for this section or this course section. Give it a title, 3.1 or whatever. Then you pick some settings. I don't usually use, for me, Zoom. I use conferences to do lectures, but I use Zoom for other purposes. But if I use it for this purpose, I would pick host on and participant off first. Then, of course, you would pick in other settings, depends on what you need. All right, so I won't go into these details, but you can look up these details and find out which one you're happy with, and for the security stuff as well. So the main part about the question is this: you can use the whiteboard here for that comes up with Windows. But this is probably, I use this one for questions. Let's pull this question here. So it looks nice and neat to drop the question. You can collaborate with others or with the student. And but usually I use this if it's like one thing at a time style. But if it's for a lecture where you want to have multiple pages, probably to pre-plan the pages, word problem, pictures, images, whatever is needed, diagrams, coordinate systems, and all that stuff to be there and write on it. At this bottom right side, there is a focus mode to use. When you click on it, you get this neat screen. At the top, if you have the Zoom menu, you can bring it down. This way you have access to these three dots that takes you back to the menu. And of course here, since I mentioned I'm using a sketchpad, then the pen works just like the mouse. This wireless pen acts just like the mouse, and you can scroll up and down as usual. And so here, just to make the video short and show the writing, so I'll skip some of these parts. Of course, I just put them for the presentation. For in this case here, I would talk about, because we're doing applications of quadratic functions, but we already did some of these applications before, right? Projectile motion that we discussed, that usually modeled by quadratic functions, and I can show. So one thing only with this is anytime you change, this display shows up. I guess it's okay, if you want to use eraser and other things here, you can use them. So you can see here, and you just have to keep switching. And you get used to it. If it's same color, you don't have to click on this. One application we saw as a when, for example, we have something as a function, let's say a height or something as a function of time, and we solve them. But just quickly, I'll talk about this. we can like discuss with the student, but just to show you, just previously we did this, we talked about it, and we accepted both. We had some type of solution like this. We, rejected negative and all that for the time and all that stuff. So students will go in details, and students know what we're discussing, and they worked on it. So I'll show some of the writing here. And of course, by now in the review, we connected that here we're interested for the parabola, for this type here, the vertex, where in previously we were interested in something like this, T1 and T2, right? And just to show, for example, this, you can grab this and say, okay, I will put it there. All right. So we have a value of this vertex, X and Y, but X here, the Y value here, because this thing opens up, we have a Y minimum, right? So then we get into discussion. Does actually the question ask about the minimum, and does this actually has a minimum? And we compare point 2, we say positive, this thing opens up and go into these details. Yes, now it has a minimum. And we'll write down, this is some writing, vertex. So vertex for the function c of x occurs when x equal negative b over 2a. So that will be step 1, is to find this negative b over 2a as step 1. And we'll ask, if we know x, how do we usually find the y value? Then students will say with substitution. So we'll substitute that value into c function, and we'll find it. So this is going to be the y minimum. Right? So this thing here is going to be step 2. All right, so we just show a few things here, and the last thing I'll just show, and the more you write, the better you get used to it. So the last thing I'll show, that when you finish escape, you hit escape to exit the mode. There are some other tools here I didn't talk about, but you can use them. You see, like this ink replay. That's if you're retyping or something, but it doesn't work in the focus mode, but it works in this regular mode. And for a recap, if you need to use it for, I think it's good for some short idea and recap it or summarize it or something. But so we'll save, click and save. Don't forget to save. This way, when you can go back to the document, and everything is there, right? And we can export this thing to PDF and see how it looks. All right, it looks nice. Thank you. Take care.